And I think one of the downsides to this particular situation is that when someone goes through a sex change, gender reassignment, I think sex change is now viewed as a slurry way to say it. It's not sex change, it's gender reassignment. Just changing sexes is just so confusing. Gender reassignment is not confusing, but when overnight you have to stop on a dime and things that people have been saying for years automatically become offensive. And you have to consider that every single time you're trying to broach a topic and do something for the common good and bridge gaps of understanding. And then people jump down your throat, as they did with me on Twitter the other day, for using the wrong terminology, or they accused me of pitting women against each other for something I said about it. I was like, really? I'm on your side. I'm the person that... And what's interesting is the people that were jumping down my throat were not the transgendered. We did have a great call with someone that was transgendered. I think she was going... I should dig up that call and play it because it's a good one. Maybe we'll do it a little later on in the show. But, yeah, it's tough being someone who's trying to do the right thing and someone who's trying to shine a light on the difficult situation that people find themselves in when this is a part of their life. And it's tough being that person that tries to bridge gaps of understanding. And then the PC police, people that are not in any way, shape, or form affected by gender dysphoria on a personal level, like to scream and yell at you for using improper terminology when you're trying to make the world a better place. So anybody that's going to jump down my throat for for using incorrect terminology, for saying things that are offensive now but weren't offensive a day and a half ago, anyone that's going to jump down my throat, I'm just going to save you the hassle and the trouble. Don't bother tweeting me. Just bite me in advance. I'm here for the common good. Suck it. Or whatever. Anyways. But I think one of the interesting and tough things about this particular situation is I think a lot of people that go through this gender dysphoria thing and do eventually have the gender reassignment surgery wind up being kind of selfish and self-centered. And it's almost impossible not to be, because look, you've been in a crisis of identity for your entire life up to this point, and then all of a sudden you're breaking loose of the shackles that have bound you mentally and physically. And everything is a whole new world for you. You are stepping out into this world on new, rickety, Bambi-esque legs, relearning everything, doing lots of things for the first time, experiencing things for the first time. And that's a huge, huge, all-encompassing experience. But when you're with someone who has made the decision to stay with you, be like, you know what? I don't care what gender you are. I love you. This is the person I love. When you're in that particular situation, it can be hard to take, because this person is, very understandably so, all about themselves. It's about me. It's about my experience. I was a man, now I'm a woman. I was a woman, now I'm a man. And I'm just, I'm figuring it all out. And every day is a new discovery. And it's all about me. And it's tough. It's tough. It would take superhuman effort on the part of someone that goes through gender reassignment surgery to not be focused on themselves. I've had relatives that got sick. Had possible life-threatening illnesses. And it really makes you take everything in your life. It makes you take stock of everything in your life. And it's funny. I remember when a very close relative got sick and was dealing with a bunch of stuff. I remember doctors telling me they're probably going to be impossible to live with for a little while, because there's no way you can go through something like this and not be completely self-centered. And that's the same thing with gender reassignment surgery. It's such a monumental shift. It's such a monumental, incredible change in your life. And it involves so much of who you are and the build-up to this point. And then all the new experiences of this new reassigned gender, that it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible not to be a self-centered jackass, the way it's very clear that Caitlyn Jenner currently is. This is better than winning gold medals because it's about me. I thought winning the gold medal was all about you. I mean, whatever. It's very hard to deal with, and like Bruce Jenner's kids from the previous marriage, aren't going to be part of his reality show. They're like, no, we're supposed to be the kids in this situation. He's supposed to look after us. We're not supposed to be a supporting cast of players in a television show that's all about him. It's not the deal. He wasn't that great of a dad to begin with, and now we're not going to support him. And they're being called shamers. They're being called, and look, we're dealing with folks like Brody Jenner, not exactly fantastic people we're talking about here, but they're being shamed for not being supportive of their father's transition to a woman, and they're getting an unnecessarily hard time for it. And all they're saying is like, no. We don't want to be a bit player in his life. He's supposed to be our dad, and that's it. That's our relationship with him. That's pretty much it. But it's almost impossible to go through something like this and to not become a self-centered jackass. And so it makes it very, very difficult for the people around you to kind of deal. Like if you're in a married couple, someone decides to go from one gender to another, it's all about them. It's all about their experience, and that's fine, and that's understandable. But the other person in the relationship, I think, has a tendency to disappear and a tendency to wonder if anything's ever going to be about them again in the relationship. So it's a tough one, and we'll see how it unfolds. But I think the main thing that we can do, and maybe it won't be such a monumental, stratospheric, egotistical shift if we all, maybe through Bruce, now Caitlyn Jenner's situation, get a little bit clearer of an idea of what goes on when you suffer from gender dysphoria.
Shimmy, shimmy, ah, shimmy, shimmy, AD on your radio like every day. I'm totally all city champion from the north back to the south, and even your mama loves it when I open my mouth, and I love it when
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Queen.
She's a killer queen, gunpowder eternity, dynamite with a laser beam, guilty to blow your mind.
Queen formed in London in 1970, originally consisting of Freddie Mercury as lead vocal and piano, Brian May guitar and vocals, John Deacon on bass, and Roger Taylor behind the drums. Before joining Queen, Brian May and Roger Taylor had been playing together in a band named Smile with bassist Tim Stafford. Freddie Mercury, then known as Freddie Bulsara, was a fan of Smile and encouraged them to experiment with more elaborate stage and recording techniques. After Staffel's departure in 1970, Mercury himself joined the band shortly thereafter, changed the name of the band to Queen, and adopted his familiar stage name. John Deacon joined the band, and in 1973, the debut album Queen was released. Both the debut and its follow-up, Queen 2, were successful in the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Queen coming up.
8. I deliver your Sunday paper every week.
7. We work on the same floor.
1 in 8 Americans is struggling with hunger.
6. Our kids walk to school together every day,
including millions of children and seniors.
5. We chat in the elevator at work sometimes.
4. I'm your cashier at the grocery store.
Who's the 1 in 8 in your life that needs help? You can make a difference through Feeding America at feedingamerica.org/1 in 8. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Delivering fascinating subjects, interesting talk, and boobs and fart jokes. AD on iHeartRadio.
Oh, man. All right, then, Funkhauser. I think we've exhausted the Caitlyn Jenner thing until something monumental happens in that world. I think we're going to leave it the hell alone. I think we've said our piece. I think we've summed it up, and we can sum it up in the following way. Be kind. You don't know what other people are going through. All right, what else? Oh, what's going on in the world? Let's do some news.
I found the really, really old news bed here. Going back.
I like this one. Yeah.
A website estimated that there have been more than 200 rapes, not grapes, rapes in the Game of Thrones books, and 50 so far on the TV show.
If you don't know the distinction between rapes and grapes, I'm not sending you to the grocery store. Yeah, 200 rapes in the Game of Thrones books and 50 so far in the TV show, according to a website. That's the most rapes associated with a single franchise that doesn't feature Bill Cosby. Go on.
A combat veteran gave his Purple Heart to country star Brantley Gilbert.
Oh, really? I mean, if you're going to give away your Purple Heart medal to a country singer, well, I would have given it to Dolly Parton. Way more fun to pin it on her chest. I get it. I understand. Brantley Gilbert does this yearly thing for veterans, and it's a fantastic thing. It really is, and I'm never, ever going to get in the way of that. But I don't think old Brantley should have accepted it. This is a Purple Heart. This is a combat veterans medal that you get for being shot in the line of duty. It's a wonderful and it's a heartfelt gift for Brantley Gilbert, but old Brantley shouldn't have accepted it. And who knows? Like, unless you're on the spot when, a combat veteran attempts to give you the gift of his Purple Heart, and you're going through all the emotions that you would go through in that particular situation, you don't know, so I'm not going to judge. But I would like to think that if I was put in Brantley Gilbert's situation for some of the work that we did for veterans around here, I would be like, you got to be kidding me. I don't deserve that. I was not shot in combat. You hold on to that, and I will take it as the highest compliment that you attempted to give that to me. But I cannot, in good conscience, take that from you. That whole stolen valor thing that people talk about. It's not exactly stolen, but it's misappropriated if you have a Purple Heart medal and you weren't in combat. Go on, what else?
Casey Anthony, hello, is reportedly going to do a sit-down interview on an unnamed TV network, Oprah.
Oh, yeah, and if that goes well, a TLC reality show can't be far behind. Good grief. Go on.
Bob Saget will return to the Full House spinoff.
Yeah. But only under any conditions for any money at all. I believe to clear space in his schedule for production, Bob Saget did nothing. Have you ever seen Bob Saget stand up?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to see him go back into the family-friendly environment, knowing what we know about him now. Like, he is just unbelievably filthy, just incredibly dirty. And I think the great hook to the Full House spinoff we'll be seeing Bob Saget go back to being like the Full House guy. Like,
he can't, though. He's going to have to say. I mean, there's going to be some dirty jokes here and there. He just can't help himself.
I don't know. He's got comedy specials on Netflix. I think, the great fun would be watching Then the Other, because the Full House spinoff is supposed to be on Netflix. So I'd love to watch him go from being
Bob Saget Marathon.
Yeah, Bob Saget Marathon. Just watch him be filthy, watch him be Full House guy. Watch him be filthy, watch him be Full House guy. I think it'll make it a very surreal experience.
Which one's the palate cleanser?
Which one? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you've been watching more of. Like, and you know what? I'm not easily offended, and I've never been offended by Bob Saget, but some of the filth that he employs in his stand-up show, to me, is kind of gratuitous, where, like, I've never been one of those people that, is like, oh, that's too many swear words. Oh, that's a line, and then that man just crossed it. That's not me. But there have been times where I've been watching his stand-up, and the filth has been, and I love filth, I really do, but it has been, to me, gratuitous in that I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, seriously, it's not funny. You're just being dirty for the sake of being dirty because people go, can you believe what the Full House guy said? And I don't know. Do you like his stand-up?
I've seen him live.
Yeah.
And, meh. Sure.
Yeah. Sure, why not? Yeah, exactly. He's not a great stand-up, but his stand-up is made that much more interesting because he was the Full House guy. It's funny, people say, like, no one would go to his shows if he hadn't been on Full House. I don't think that's true. I think he'd be a good working comedian, but, like, his I mean, obviously he gets a much bigger audience because he's famous from Full House, but I don't think that Bob Saget's stand-up would be as interesting if people didn't know him as this straight-laced guy, because it's like, you know, it's like